All right, welcome everybody to the Taft LSC March General Meeting. We're going to go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Find a flag in your general vicinity. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Keeling, can you do roll call?
Absolutely. Anita Bernacki.
Here.
Mary Kay Cobb. Is she here, Kathy? No.
I don't see her.
I think she's
Okay.
seeing her grandmother.
Julieta
Aw.
Pasco.
She's on mute.
She's here. She's just muted. I see her.
Unmute. Okay. Chrissy Estrada.
Here.
Kathy Fern.
Here.
Monica Moore.
Here.
Chris Raguso.
Present.
Laura Keeling is here. Maria McDormand. Here. Bridget Doherty Trebbing.
Here.
Scott Plensner.
Here.
Amelia Mano.
Here.
And Mark Grishaber.
Here.
And we have a quorum.
Great. Thank you. Alrighty. Student spotlight. Catherine Herrera. Is she on?
Here.
There you go. Welcome, everyone. This is Catherine Herrera. Mr. Cohen, you want to unmute yourself? And then, oh, Mary Kay Cobb is on too, Laura. Mr. Cohen, why don't you introduce Catherine?
All right, so this is Catherine Herrera. Kat is a four-year drama student here at Taft. And she's here this month as our student spotlight because she was our school champion in Poetry Out Loud. So she advanced to the district competition and won that. And so now she's a state finalist. And Mr. Wilson, who has coached her through this process, just informed me a couple of hours ago, we found out that Kat is top 5 in the state. So for the final round competition, students performed 3 poems. And so judges are evaluating that third and final poem tonight. We should have the results soon. But Kat, we already know, is top 5 in the state. And just as a side note, that gives Taft 2 top 5 finishes in the past 3 years. Kat this year, and then 2 years ago, Alyssa Argent was state runner-up. So congratulations to Kat, and of course to Mr. Wilson, her coach, and also to Miss Newton and Miss Taylor, who ran Poetry Out Loud before Mr. Wilson took it over this year. And they built a state power. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome. And Kat, would you like to read your poem that you won the Poetry Out Loud contest with?
Yeah, I would like to read one of my strongest poems. I've actually been working on it since last year. I didn't get to read it at the state competition with Miss Newton, but it was, you know, I still would like to do that.
Take it away.
The Collar by George Herbert. I struck the board and cried, "No more! I will abroad!" What? Shall I ever sigh and pine? My lines and life are free, free as the road, loose as the wind, as large as store. Shall I be still in suit? Have I no harvest but a thorn to let me blood and not restore what I've lost with cordial fruit? Sure, there was wine before my sighs did dry it. There was corn before my tears did drown it. Is the year only lost to me? Have I no bays to crown it? No flowers, no garlands gay, all blasted, all wasted? Not so, my heart, but there is fruit, and thou hast hands. Recover all thy sigh-blown age on double pleasures. Leave thy cold dispute of what is fit and not. Forsake thy cage, thy rope of sand which petty thoughts have made and made to thee. Good cable to enforce and draw and be thy law, while thou didst wink and wouldst not see. Away, take heed, I will abroad. Call in thy death's head there, tie up thy fears. He that forbears to suit and serve his need deserves his load. But as I raved and grew more fierce and wild at every word, methought I heard one calling, child. And I replied, my lord. Thank you.
Bravo.
Great. job.
Amazing. Good job.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing that. That was amazing.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Hey, Kat, what college you looking at?
I'm still waiting to hear back from a lot of colleges.
What would be your number one choice, Kat? Dream
I
big.
don't really have specifically a number one choice, but perhaps maybe one of the colleges that I really am looking at right now that I enjoy is Barnard College. It's kind of tough though.
Yeah. All right. Good luck on that. That was
Kat,
one. That was
Thank
one.
you.
Kat, felicidades. Felicidades para tu familia, eh?
Gracias.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Thank
Kat.
you. We'd also like to welcome Alderman Spazzato that has joined us today, and I'll give you an opportunity to speak in just a few minutes. We just got to take care of a little bit more business, okay?
Thank you.
Announcements, opening statements. Just want to give everybody a reminder, we did a vaping seminar a few weeks back, and it's been recorded and uploaded to the Taft LSC, let's see, Taft High School Chicago LSC is the name of the YouTube channel. And Mr. G put a link to it in his weekly email, so you can find it that way. And if you haven't watched it yet, I strongly suggest you take some time to watch it. It's full of great information for parents on how to spot vaping in your children. I guarantee if they're doing it, you probably don't know it's happening. And you need to know because you need to know how dangerous it is. And there's also some resources that are provided in the video that can help you further help your child and even help yourself if you're vaping, including some quitting resources. So please check that out. Okay, approval of today's agenda. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
Mrs.
Second.
Russo? And who seconded, Chrissy?
Estrada. Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Keeling, can you take a roll call vote?
Here I am. Sorry, I'm still all choked up. Kat, that was insanely amazing. Okie dokie. So Anita Bernacki,
Yes.
Mary Kay Cobb,
She said yes, she's muted.
perfect. Julieta Pasco,
Yes.
Chrissy Estrada,
Yes.
Kathy Fern,
Yes.
Monica Moore,
Yes.
Chris Raguso,
Aye.
Laura Keeling, aye. Maria McDormand,
Yes.
Bridget Doherty Trubbing,
Aye.
Scott Plensner,
Yes.
Amelia Mano,
Yes.
and Mark Grishaber.
Yes.
Great.
It is approved.
Thank you. And then we need to approve the minutes from February 9th. They were in the Google Drive, and also I think they might have been emailed to you. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes, or if there's any changes or edits that need to be done?
This is Anita, and I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it. It's Maria.
Ms. Keeling?
Hey, Anita Bernacki,
Yes.
Mary Kay Cobb.
She's saying yes.
She's saying yes, thank you. Julieta Pasco,
Yes.
Chrissy Estrada,
Aye.
Kathy Fern,
Yes.
Monica Moore,
Yes.
Chris Raguso,
Aye.
Laura Keeling, aye. Maria McDormand,
Yes.
Bridget Doherty Trebbing,
Aye.
Scott Plensner,
Yes.
Amelia Mano,
Yes.
and Mark Grishaber.
Yes.
It is approved.
Thank you. Okay, now we'd like to go ahead and give Alderman Sposato a couple minutes to talk, and this is regarding the path that was built between the Taft Freshman Academy and the new Park District field that is adjacent. And there's been some issues with getting the path completed, lighted, opened, unsecured so that we can use it. And so that's we asked the alderman to come and kind of speak to the current situation and give us all an update.
Thank you, Kathy. I didn't know I was speaking.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. Well, I mean, my understanding is everything's done. We got a little bump in the road about using the parking lot, which is very odd to me. And the Mr. G and myself are working with the Park District, which absolutely makes no sense to us about the issue. So I have a meeting tomorrow, somewhere between 1 and 4, they're going to let me know to discuss this. So I don't anticipate a problem, but as far as I know, the path is all done, lit up, and it's just a matter of going from the end of the path to the parking lot through the field. That seems to be a bit of an issue. So, or our teachers parking in the parking lot, which really makes zero sense to me. So, but I'm confident it'll be resolved, if not this week, next week.
And do we understand that the path is complete as far as it needs to go? I thought there was some question as to Chris as to whether the path actually extended far enough.
So hi, Alderman Sposato. It's Chris Raguso. Good to see you.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Thanks for joining us. This has been such a ridiculous process. I know you've been with us stride for stride on this. So Kath, I found the drawings, and the drawings dump us off in the stadium. So it appears that the issue is, and Alderman Sposato, I'm sure you know this, but I got to wonder if St. Pat's has their hand in this. The issue is once the kids get in the stadium, they can't get out. So, because the stadium's locked. And so let's say they can get out of the stadium. Now they're in the parking lot. And then on Oak Park Avenue, there's a gate and that's locked. So the kids, even if they make it into the parking lot from the stadium, they can't get out onto Oak Park and the parents can't come in and get them. So whoever controls the locking of the stadium and the gates, that's got to go away. And the teachers need to be able to park in there and our parents need to be able to come in. And it's such a quick, it's like 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the afternoon and the Taft kids are gone.
That's all it is, Chris, because of course, school hasn't been around for a while, but I went there many a times and I was talking to Mr. G about it today and I was just laugh because parents would get there by 2:30, there's 20 parents waiting over there, and they get out at 3:05, and the parents that get there at 3:05 get out of there at 3:06. So I'm just baffled by it. Yeah, I mean, we will be done with that by 3:15. I did do some research today. St. Pat's doesn't even got a school to 2:45. So the very earliest they could be there, in my opinion, is 3:15. So I think they're just seeing some mixed up communications here. And once again, I have a meeting tomorrow with Pat LeVar. I know you know who Pat is, and some other people, and I believe somebody from St. Pat's. And I'm confident this will be resolved. So
Great. Okay, anyone else from the LSC have questions for Alderman Sposato? Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming. You're welcome to hang out. And
Yeah, just to really thank the Alderman. He's really been in the trenches with us on this stride for stride and has not given up. And this should have taken maybe 2 months. It's been what, almost 2 years. So he's not left our side. So thanks, Alderman, on behalf of the Taft family.
All right, no problem. I'm glad. It's a no-brainer to me, and we'll get this resolved. So we do have a good friend in the parks with Pat LeVar. So this should be an easy fix, and especially once I found out today that St. Pat's kids don't even got a school to 2:45, non-issue. So. The only issue I believe was, I'm sorry, let me come back on that, was who's going to open the gates in the morning and who's going to lock them at the end of the day. But the locking part is no problem. And the opening, I would guess somebody from the administration could unlock it. So, but we'll figure it out.
great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay. All right, we're on to reports. We'll go to principal reports. Mr. Gershaber.
Kath, I'm going to share my screen again, please.
Okay, let me turn it on.
Okay.
Oops. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you can see that, right, Kath?
Yes,
Does it need to get bigger?
that's good.
Okay. First thing under competency A, we continue to have weekly TCT freshman and sophomore weekly house meetings. That has not gone away. I put it on here, March Teachers of the Month, Dee Bracken, Jeff Luco, LSC Representative Bridget Doherty Trebbing, Diana Powitz, Mike Howe, and Jackie Alonen. A lot of people sometimes say, Mark, how do you get those? And a lot of times they're given to us by other members of the staff that says, hey, by the way, I know you have a teacher of the month, think about this person. So it's not willy-nilly. A lot of times it's something that, you know, I know, I think 60% of what our staff does, but I know there's 40% that I don't know, and they go above and beyond sometimes that I don't know. So it's nice to be tipped off by our staff as to everybody that's going above and beyond. So keep that coming. Number 2, competency B, participated in a meeting with network chief and CPS budgeting department to discuss additional allocation for our 2021-22 budget. We are going to increase about 300 students next year. So we had a meeting, a preemptive meeting. We should be getting budgets in about next week, they said, as far as our numbers go for next week. So they had asked us what our new numbers were going to be. So we've been through this before. The last 2 years, we give them our new numbers and they give us the old numbers. And so this way we said, we had a meeting with them and said, please don't do that to us again. It puts us in a bind. And so I feel we were heard, and we will see what happens next week as far as what they give us. I think after 2 years, they understand the importance of what the freshman academy brings to this neighborhood and the amount of students that are now enrolled there. So I think they get it. And I'm also a member of the CPS High School Reopening Task Force. I'm on the committee to talk about extracurricular activities. I probably attend 2 or 3 meetings on that per week. And I'll just let everybody know that the number one concern in all of those meetings we talk about is student and teacher safety is foremost in everything we talk about. It's not just like, let's hurry back and get everybody back. It's always about safety for everybody. Number 3, competency C, I've been in continual meetings. Our website is 1990s. It's annotated, and when you look at other ones, we can bump it up. So Mr. Eaton and I have been meeting with to talk about the new renovation of our website. It's really going to be something special, I think, incorporating a lot of videos and streamlined a lot of the areas right there. So I'm looking forward to that. Last week, I think everybody on the LSC knows that we lost one of our teachers, Miss Pamela Redmond, a special ed teacher loved by all our students and all our kids. We had 3 meetings, life celebration meetings after school last Wednesday at 3:15. We held it for everybody in the math department. We wanted to divide it up instead of having a large school one. The fact that we have 300 people in the school now, we really wanted to be intentional to give everybody a voice. So Wednesday was dedicated to just the math department, which she spent a lot of her time in. And then Thursday was special ed, or diverse learner department. And then Friday was everybody. So I feel everybody got to tell stories about Pam. There was tears, there was laughter. I learned stuff. I never knew that Ms. Redmond was a dean before. So that puts her on my pedestal as educators, because being a dean is really tough. So I think it was good. I think it was really good for a lot of our faculty. I just put this on for fun. Mr. Eaton and I have a pop survey on the website to kind of keep kids interested, and parents and teachers coming to the website. So we have one pop survey every week. So 3 weeks ago, we asked if it was okay to put ketchup on a hot dog, and 73% of people said it was okay to put ketchup on a hot dog of our things. Our favorite sports teams, everybody put the Cubs number 1, Bears were number 2, White Sox were number 3. And then I think it went down to the Bulls, and then I think we had the Sky and the Wolves on there too. And the last one, Dunkin' Donuts versus Starbucks. We are at 75% Dunkin' Donuts. So keep an eye on that every week. We have a fun one every week to kind of keep people engaged during the long winter here. We welcome back sports teams the last couple of weeks: football, boys soccer, basketball, girls badminton, who I'm expecting a city championship soon. Girls volleyball, boys swimming, POMs, cheerleading, bowling, and water polo. So it's good getting those kids back in the building and back on. A really good thing that my APs, our APs, who are amazing to me, we had online programming meetings a couple of weeks ago, and it was all online. And the first night we had it for ninth graders, and we had 340 attendees just at that meeting, which was an hour meeting at like 6:30 at night. The next night, not unusual for it to dip a little bit because people have been through the process before, 240, and then for 11th graders, 200. But I know a whole bunch more reviewed the recordings that we had of each of them, because during the meetings I'd had, Mr. G, I can't attend, is there a recording? So I would double all those numbers so everybody understands our programming going forward. Early projections for next year, we're going to be at 4250. I fully think at the year after that, we will be the largest CPS school by probably 20 or 30 students in 2 years. So that's kind of proud of. We piloted an Eagle Sports live stream program on the website. So if you want to see any one of our sports that's at home, you can go on there. It's free and it's really nice. I expect it to really break the internet when we play Lane Tech on March 27th at 3 o'clock. There's nobody right now that could be let into the stadium, according to CPS, although IHSA has come up with guidelines that you could have 20% in there. I'm not sure CPS will adopt that or not. My guess would be no. But anyway, you can see any home sport we have online, and it's pretty good. So check that out. As
Scroll
far
down.
as I completed the CPS training module, Safe Schools and COVID-19, and then I attended an IAA Principal PD Navigating Difficult Conversations. So the dates we have coming up are March 10th, an ATL Reboot Day. We kind of got nixed on that a little bit from what the network said, is we could not take attendance in the morning and then and let the kids not take attendance the rest of the day. So we had to modify it. So all the kids have to check into all their classes tomorrow, but we've stressed it to our teachers to still make it an ATL day and an SEL day, and to take it easy on the kids, and maybe just talk to them and kind of be non-academic if they deem it necessary. We're going to give kids kind of a break. And then the March 27th is the 3:30 football versus Lane on there. And then we got, of course, graduation class 2021. I think we're down to 93 days right now for our seniors. So that's the report. I can go over the budget real quick. Put some nice stuff in. We talked this over at the budget committee, but we have some approvals. Normally I have a $10,000 approval limit, but we had one real close at 9,800. So I decided to put that one on there. That's for track and field. Our tents are real old. They're not only used for track and field, they're used for other events in the school. But we're going to order 2 brand new tents for track and field and cross country and anybody else that needs to use them. We sometimes use them for senior picnics and stuff like that. So we're getting 2 of those for $98.22. Johnson's yearbook, we have a prepayment of that for our yearbooks for the end of the year. And then we have a $17,000 bill that we want to pay for an upgraded security system for the varsity campus. This is going to turn us into watching TV in the 1970s into watching TV in the year 2021 in HD. It's going to allow us to put more security cameras all over the campus, and it's also going to allow us to upgrade the actual video footage of it. So that's kind of important. Internal accounts, we needed some transfers. We needed to transfer that $17,000 into an account to pay for that. And then we had $21,000 to offset negative buckets. Those negative buckets, some of that was to pay stipends to our department chairs for the work that they do, for the extra load that they carry. And then the book transfer, which is internal accounts, we had one for the 9822 for the track and field tents, and then the $15,425. The difference between a budget transfer and a book transfer is a budget transfer is with our SBB funds. A book transfer is internal accounts, if anybody had that question. So that's all I have. Any questions at all?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget transfers as Mr. G went over.
Wait a second.
Anita.
Okay, and just to be clear to anybody that's attending, we've discussed these budget transfers at length at our budget meeting, which you're all welcome to attend. We have a 4:30 facilities meeting, 5:30 budget meeting, and a 6:30 general meeting, all at the same link. So Ms. Keeling, can you do a roll call?
Yes. Anita Bernacki,
Yes.
Mary Kay Cobb. Yes. I see a thumbs up. Okay, wonderful. Julieta Pasco.
She's unmuting. You can just wave, Julietta. If it's up.
Sorry, yes.
Thank you.
Christy Estrada,
Aye.
Kathy Fern,
Yes.
Monica Moore,
Yes.
Chris Raguso,
Aye.
Laura Keeling, aye. Maria McDormand,
Yes.
Bridget Doherty Trebbing,
Yes.
Scott Plensner,
Yes.
Amelia Mano,
Yes.
and Mark Grishaber.
Yes.
Okay.
Budget transfers approved. Thank you very much, everybody. CIWP alignment, we have Mr. Flores and Ms. Greenblatt. You guys can unmute yourselves. And I believe you should be able to share your screens.
Okay. All right, thank you, everybody. So just a quick update this month. Yesterday, we met as a CIWP team. We read an article together on ending curricular violence from the Learning for Justice organization. And so that was a good, we had some breakout conversations about it. And then we met back in small groups from all the subcommittee teams. And they were, we're basically going through 3 questions. How are the, how's the action plan look to date? And how do we know that certain things are happening towards the action plan at any given moment if an outside person were to come in and ask? And then the last question we asked the subgroups to answer was, what do we need to start next school year, hitting these action items, assuming we're in a full in-person environment? How do we move forward with our action item to kind of meet our to meet the theories of action that we've laid out a couple of times here at these meetings? So that was our monthly meeting yesterday. Today, throughout this week, the MYP coordinators are going through and they're visiting with TCTs to give them feedback on their unit plans as they've done, as they did in the first semester. So this is their time around in third quarter doing that with all the TCTs in the core departments. We're also looking at what professional developments are needed for any new staff that will be teaching classes for next year in the advanced placement program, the IB diploma, and IB career related program. So we're working with coordinators and with the programming team to identify who that's going to include next year. Mr. G mentioned programming a little bit in the 3 after school meetings we had that were viewed by a lot of families, and they're posted on our website. We have an updated programming website that you can get to from tafths.org. We sent out over close to 3,000 personalized student scheduling sheets. So we looked at all of students' current grades, their GPA, and some other demographic information to create kind of what is the best next class for that student to take in their sequence. So those went out about 2 weeks ago, and students have until the 19th of March to finalize their choices on the Google Forms that were sent to them. And so we did all that, again, aligned with the vision of our Equal Opportunity Schools partnership. And we did, look over that data as well to make some more informed decisions on which classes students should take next year. So that was it for curriculum. I'll pass it over to Ms. Greenblatt for instruction.
Good evening, everybody. So with instruction, tomorrow is the high school summit. So typically each school year we have 3 of these. This one was postponed and rescheduled for tomorrow. So our department chairs and coordinators will be attending that. So they'll be in breakout sessions based on their subject group. And this is the first time that they are including PE and the arts. So that's exciting. And then we'll have team planning time in the afternoon. And, continuing our focus on the remote learning instructional priorities, especially the first one of the social and emotional support, which, ties into our MTSS priority. As Mr. Grishaber mentioned, we're still having an ATL day tomorrow. It's just going to look a little bit different from the previous ones because of the scheduling issue that we unfortunately, couldn't have the same format. We're also working on forming a return to school team, really to focus on the social emotional needs of students and staff as we kind of return to in-person. We know that will have its own challenges, not just logistically, but it will be a change to go from being at home to being back around a lot of people. And so we want to make sure that we really think through what some of those challenges may be for students and staff, and that we have a plan to support those needs. And then finally, with the student voice engagement in civic life, Mr. Flores and I are part of a district-wide working group to help inform schools that are trying to either improve their student voice committees or to look at the CIWP priority and how the school effectiveness framework and all of those different pieces. So we are a part of that. And then we're also really excited. We received confirmation after this slide was created today, but we have a small group that is joining. It is a partnership with a professor from Harvard, and it is to look at the question, how do educators and students engage in difficult conversations for equity and justice and grow as connected, ethical participants in our schools, city, and world? So we have a team of 7 that will be doing a training next week in the evening and being part of that research project. So we're excited about that and the different resources that will provide us. And that is our update for this month.
Thank you so much.
Taft, can I just give a quick kudo to Mr. Flores and Ms. Greenblatt, because when we were talking about this morning, they were really championing the SEL component of when our teachers return. I mean, they were really pushing that, and they were saying that needs to be on the forefront because it's not just about our kids. I mean, we're here for our kids, we understand that, but we really need to take care of our teachers that are coming back too. So I just wanted to give a kudo out to Ms. Greenblatt and Mr. Flores. Thank you for that.
Great job. Okay. Any questions from the LSC on the CIWP update? Thank you so much. Okay, we'll move on to Budget Committee. Ms. Estrada.
We reviewed the budget items during the budget meeting. Nothing further at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Facilities, Ms. Raguso.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As mentioned in the opening remarks, thanks to Alderman Spizzato for joining us and again, being an advocate for us for several years now on this freshman walkway that will enable us to help resolve some of the congestion issues we've had in the morning and afternoon hours going to school and coming out of school. He has a meeting tomorrow with the Park District with Principal G, and hopefully we will resolve the issues once and for all so that when our kids go back, hopefully in April, May, definitely in the fall, where this is all squared away and we're good to go. We continue to pursue at the varsity campus a very incredible and exciting renovation addition package. We've talked about this at several meetings now, the locker room, the library, but we really need to be focusing on it as a multi-purpose room, which so many high schools and colleges are going to. There really isn't a traditional library except on your major campuses, your college campuses. There would be a new concession stand at the field, and Principal G shared some of the renderings at the budget committee because we ran out of time at the facilities committee. As far as the freshman academy goes, there's still that front entrance issue that we're having with CPS on who's going to fix. It's not a structural or safety issue. It's just more of a cosmetic issue, but Mr. Levens is working on that. And that sums it up. But there's a lot of folks on this call as well. We take every second of the facilities committee meeting. So if you can make it at 4:30, it's a great conversation, not as formal as this meeting. And just really with our leadership and our administration and our teachers, we're doing some really visionary things with our facilities. We clearly have the best team in CPS from an administration and teachers perspective, but facilities, the space that our kids learn is just as important. So if you can make the next one at 4:30, please do so. We literally take up every second of the meeting. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
And it was suggested at the facilities committee meeting that perhaps we want to start a little earlier at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you know what? We didn't have that conversation. I'd rather table it till next meeting because we've set for 4:30 for this year. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else I want to say too is Mr. Levens mentioned, and he continues to mention, our unsung heroes, our custodial staff, who have just done a yeoman's job of utilizing every second of their day to make sure that they're cleaning, that they're preparing, that they're getting us ready to come back to school. And so they need to be thanked and recognized.
Thank you. Next, we have safety and security, Ms. McDormand.
Good evening. There's not too much to report. Obviously, since the students aren't in school, our misconducts are pretty low, which is a good thing. And we are actually on par with other schools in our district, in District 14. So nothing really to report. There is a new committee that is being added, I believe, to every school. It is a COVID health and safety committee. So that will be added to our agenda and the safety and security meetings. And due to that, we are going to have our meetings start instead of at 2:30. For the next so many meetings, they will begin at 3:10 p.m. for anybody that's interested in attending. And that's pretty much it. Security officers are still helping around the school as best, whatever they can, as best they can. And that was our report for today. Pretty quiet.
Great. Any questions from anyone on the LSC regarding security, safety and security? Okay, thank you. Next, we have Friends of Taft, Miss Bernacki.
Okay, I'm going to start with the PTSA. This is a report from Mallory Kelly, the president of the PTSA. She said our Lou Malnati's restaurant night in February earned $729, which is huge. Doesn't surprise me. Everybody loves Lou's. And that they will be hosting a spring fundraiser, which is a flower sale. There are also tomato plants, pepper plants, strawberry plants, and garden herbs for sale also. All orders can be placed online through April 2nd. The pickup of the orders will be held at the school on May 22nd. She is sending this out through Trent and will also be posted on social media. Anyone can order, so this can be shared with family, friends, neighbors, anybody you can think of. They just have to be local enough to pick up their order. And she said she used this company at her prior school district, and their flowers are excellent quality. These flowers will be going strong through October. So that is the PTSA report. Mr. Projaska, is there anything that you'd like to share? I did not get a report from Miss Lundy, so if there's something you'd like to share, feel free.
We finally have our Board of Trustees up to the limit. We've been several short for several years. We've got some alumni who have come back to help out. Also, you'll see the alumni newsletter should be out probably next week. And so the LSC members all got a print copy, as do all the teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's my report.
Thank you, Ms. Bernacki. Okay, next we have Athletics, Miss Cobb. You're muted. You're muted, Miss Cobb. There you go.
There we go. So anyway, Mr. Grishaber really gave the report already. So sports started and we beat Lane. I don't know if that's the important part, but anyway, thank you, Mr. G.
Thank you. And next, we would like to introduce a new person on our list of reports. Mr. Cohen is going to do an arts report. So Mr. Cohen, take it away.
All right. You're the ones who gave an actor a stage, so here we go.
And there's no 2-minute limit, so brave on.
I look forward to breathing. It's gonna be good. All right, so yes, this is the arts report. I do want to throw in really quickly for debate though, which is very much the art of argument. So that's how I'll justify it. Although maybe I should send these to Ms. Cobb in the future because I think it's really a sport too. Conference championship debate tournament was held last month. And Taft placed 3 teams into the semifinals of the conference tournament, which is a ridiculous performance. Those teams are Phoebe Tozer and Hugo Gahant, Ashna Sani and Saisha Kapoor, making their 3rd consecutive semifinal appearance, and Caitlin Andes and Nicholas Betson. And that was their first time reaching the playoffs of a tournament this year. So a really nice breakthrough for them. In terms of individual speaker awards, 15th place, Alexandra Boyke. 12th place, Saisha Kapoor. 11th place, Ashna Sani. 10th place, Hugo Gahant. 9th place, Peyton Johnson. And 5th place overall, Phoebe Tozer. Phoebe and Hugo advanced out of the semifinals to the conference championship round, where the judges, all 3 of them agreed that Phoebe and Hugo were by far the superior debaters, but they lost on a technicality. So close. But we look forward to getting our revenge next month at City Championships. And speaking of City Championships, this year, we went from almost not having a team to, at the end of the regular season, every single Taft debater has qualified for City Championships this year. So I'm going to read their names because they deserve it. Caitlin Andes, Nicholas Betson, Alexandra Boyke, Hugo Gahant, Matthew Gustafson, Peyton Johnson, Saisha Kapoor, Eleanor Marchese, Ashna Sani, Clark Sherman, Phoebe Tozer. In order to qualify for City Championships, you have to reach the playoff rounds of at least 1 regular season tournament. So that is like team-wide stellar. Normally with, if you get a team with more than 6 debaters, you start to see some stratification. But in this case, every single debater has come through and has shown tremendous growth. These are all novices in their first year of debate as well. Credit for this has to go, first of all, to Leanne Nazal, who is here at this meeting. She is our student captain who gave up competition this year to be our coach and chief strategist. Credit also goes to our new coach, Rebecca Walls, who has taken to debate like a fish to water. And credit really must also go to Mr. Plensner and Miss Nicholas, who built this program before I got here. And whose standard I'm still trying to meet. So thank you to all of them. We look forward to reporting about our exploits at City Championships next month. On to the fine arts section. Visual Arts is proud to share the great news that 6 of our visual arts students were offered scholarship awards totaling over $656,000 for their art portfolios in the Illinois High School Art Exhibition, IHSAE for short. 5 of these students are current seniors who received scholarship offers for next year. Their names are Adana Lynch, Laszlo Katona, Julia Kulia, Alex Gross, Veronica Kozak. And 1 sophomore, Naomi Vasquez, won an early college program scholarship for summer art classes through the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. There will be a virtual exhibition of all of this art Wednesday, April 7th through Sunday, April 11th. Everything will be online. I believe that the visual art department has a link or will be able to provide a link to that. It will be open to the public free of charge. So that is wonderful. And I'm closing with drama. Taft alum Georgia Kozo is a sophomore at Marquette and she keeps in touch with us. She just got cast in their production of Antigone. She's going to be playing Ismene, which is a lead role in that play. That is her third main stage casting in just 2 years at Marquette. So that's wonderful. She was a cornerstone of our department here, and surprise, surprise, she's a cornerstone at the next level too. Catherine Herrera, you already saw, so I'm going to repeat it again though, because it bears repeating. Catherine Herrera is top 5 in the state in poetry out loud. I think you all saw earlier that she is the state champion, regardless of what the judges say ultimately, but we might find out they agree with us in a couple of days. They're evaluating her third poem tonight. We should get results, according to Mr. Wilson, in the next couple of days. I should say at this point, Mr. Grishaber referenced winning city championships. Catherine Herrera has won 3 city championships this year. She is the city champion of poetry out loud, and she won the musical theater category at the Chicago Youth Theater Festival, as well as best overall performer. So that's 3 city championships for Cat alone. So, wow. And I'm going to close, and I might get a little bit emotional here. So apologies in advance, but this one, I'm overwhelmingly proud of this. Like I'm proud of everybody, but wow. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a list of names here. Lady Gaga, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Elizabeth Olsen, Kristen Bell, Marcia Gay Harden, Adam Sandler, Miles Teller, Chandra Wilson, Idina Menzel, Rainn Wilson, Alec Baldwin, Rachel Bloom, Clark Gregg, Moises Kaufman, Spike Lee, Andy Samberg, Bill Paxton, Molly Shannon, Raul Esparza, Gina Rodriguez, Chloe Feynman, and Ali Stroker. All of those folks graduated from New York University's Tisch School of the Arts. And I'm reading all their names because we're going to be adding an eagle to that list. Vanessa Rivera has been admitted and committed to NYU Tisch on a $50,000 annual scholarship. So 4-year drama student Vanessa Rivera, academic center student Vanessa Rivera, who went from we have a student one act festival every year, and in 8th grade she was not cast in any of the one acts, and there were a bunch that year, and she stuck with it, and she worked and she grinded, and now 4 years later she's going to NYU. It's incredible. So go Arts. Yeah. That's all I got.
That's plenty.
Kath, can I add something real quick? Because I mean, like I said in the chats there, I'll put our drama department, our arts department against any, I'm not even going after city, I'm going after the state right now. We have one of the best in the state. Mr. Cohen is being, like all of our teachers, is being humble. I mean, he's amazing. The kids love him. I mean, just our arts department is off the hook here. And I'm just going to say it right now, I love doing a couple of things during the year, but one of the things I missed this year is not only watching the plays in the Black Box Theater, but watching Mr. Cohen watch the plays in the Black Box Theater. You could tell he gives his heart and his soul to that department. So Jonathan and everybody else that has built the foundation of that department, just thank you so much for that. You really are. You some people touch hearts, you massage their hearts. So thank you very much.
Mr. Cohen, this is Julieta Patco speaking, sir. Congratulations to you for your hard work. You're an inspiration. I recall that when I was your age, I was successful because I had a teacher that touched my life in 6th grade and stayed with me until today. You have had a significant impact on every human being that had come to your desk. And congratulations to you. And please let us know or send us an email through the president or through the principal in the next 48 hours to see if Kat Herrera made it to the top, please. Essentially because I would like to do something for her as a person that's not as a member of the local school council, but as an individual.
Of course. Thank you. And thank you all for the compliments. I'm part of a department. Mr. Nadig is the head of that department. Mr. Wilson is the foundation of that department as the academic center teacher and freshman drama 1 teacher for the last 2 years. He's been the base that we build off of. And I realize that I've acquired a reputation for doing a lot. Mr. Wilson does more than I do. Those 3 city championships that I mentioned for Kat, Mr. Wilson coached her for all of those. There's an additional city championship for best 2-person scene. I talked about that last month, but Mr. Wilson coached that too. We weren't going to have Poetry Out Loud this year, and Mr. Wilson took it over. So I appreciate all of the kudos and thank you, and I accept them gratefully, but only on the condition that I can share them with Mr. Wilson and Mr. Nadig.
Sure.
And here's a little Zoom lesson for you all. If you scroll down to the bottom of your screen and you see the reactions button, if you click on that, you can react to all the great news we just heard. So let's see some hand clapping or some hearts from everybody here for all that great news. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, moving on, we have, and thank you, Mr. Cohen, for a wonderful report. We look forward to hearing more from you going forward. PPLC, Miss Doherty Trebbing and Mr. Plinsner.
Thank you. So we have a written report that I might, I don't like to look down and read, but I want to, as a staff member and a teacher, Mr. Grishaber mentioned already, but I feel like it's worth repeating that the loss of Pam Redmond, who was a teacher at Taft High School for 16 years. So she will be missed greatly by her colleagues and her students. And Pam was a wife and a mother and a grandmother. So that has been a difficult loss for our school. So I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge that. So we have the report from our Taft PPLC, which is our Professional Personnel Leadership Committee. This is made up of 9 teachers that have been elected by their peers. Our most recent meeting was last week on March 2nd. And we discussed many issues in an attempt to develop recommendations to the principal and the LSC, since that's the purpose of that body. We were very excited in this past meeting to be able to collaborate not only with our administration, but also with students from the Student Voice Committee. And I can see this evening that some of those students are here. So hearing their perspective is very valuable, because obviously, you know, our goal in making Taft the best place for teachers to be is because if it's the best place for teachers to be, then that obviously benefits our students. That's our whole job. And we've continued to work on adjusting our agenda for those meetings so that we can acknowledge that we have members of that committee that are on 2 campuses and administrators and students that are on 2 campuses. And we've also submitted our agenda to our shared folder. So we made several formal recommendations at our most recent meeting. 2 of them were related to the possible impending reopening or returning to learning in our buildings. And the 2 topics that we addressed in these recommendations are acknowledging that some students and staff might have to have their schedules modified or changed. That's something that we know has happened in other schools. And then the other was related to teachers being notified as soon as possible if their schedule is being adjusted or changed based on what may happen with reopening. And Mr. Grishaber agreed that both of these were reasonable recommendations and something that we could do at Taft High School. Another recommendation that we made was to be able to bring in local Chicago artist Tanika Johnson. She does a lot of amazing work, but one piece of work that she's done for a number of years is called the Folded Map Project. And so she herself is a photographer primarily, and she's done this amazing work that looks at segregation and ultimately systemic racism in the city of Chicago. But what she does is make these amazing human connections. So it's called the Folded Map, because what she's done, if you literally had a paper map of the city of Chicago and folded it in half, you could connect north side neighborhoods to south side neighborhoods. And what she's done is she's photographed families in their homes. So, you know, let's say you're at, I'm trying to think of one of the streets that really runs, like Western Avenue. If you're at an address that's really far north, and then there's someone who's really far south on Western Avenue, she has photographed those families with their homes. But then the most amazing part of her project, she's also connected those families. So they've met one another and visited each other's homes and visited each other's neighborhoods. And so it's really, you know, as we all know, like Chicago is a city of neighborhoods that are often very segregated. Like we don't often leave or have much experience outside of our own neighborhoods. So she's done amazing work. At our recent teacher PD, we watched the documentary film that she created that was about her folded map project. And I think it was one of our most successful professional developments that we've had in some time. And so we're looking to bring Tanika virtually, when I say bring, but we're looking to bring her to work with Taft and speak to Taft at our upcoming Teacher Professional Development Day in April, which is April 16th, to, you know, have her bring her expertise in sort of guiding some great conversations that started already. And, you know, we're talking about as a staff looking at this work of like a folded map and what that means to connect with other neighborhoods and schools in other neighborhoods, and being able to bring that to our students as well. It's like, how do we in our curriculum make those connections and build relationships and, you know, potentially collaborate on projects and all of those kind of things. So we're really excited about that. Mr. Plensner, again, I know I'm not reading, I'm just talking. So I'll do one more, but if there's something that I have forgotten or paraphrased incorrectly, you can let me know. And then the other thing that we just wanted to notify the LSC and our school community is that we will be distributing a pretty lengthy survey to our staff just to gauge needs and interests related to curriculum and budget and thinking ahead to next school year. So we will be sending that out soon, and that will help us make future recommendations to this body. Thanks. Mr. Plensner.
Yeah, after that, we kind of dismissed administration, and then we got to the developing ideas part of the meeting. We developed a lot of major topics that aren't ready for formal recommendation yet. I'm going to mention these briefly to make you aware of the discussions that we're talking about, because a lot of them came up today in our other meetings. It's kind of interesting how it all kind of came together. So note that these were not formal recommendations. We have not presented them to you or to Mr. Grishaber, but we would value at this point, as we're planning, your input and support in anticipation of these items. And again, I'm going to note, administration was not part of these following discussions as of yet. So don't mess with Grishaber yet. We discussed as a teacher group, Taft's large class sizes. Many of you know, if you talk to your students, those of you who are parents and all the teachers here and everybody in this room knows that Taft is growing exponentially almost, it seems. And this has had an impact on student-teacher interactions and an impact on learning. We're trying to do a lot of research into that. We don't want to just come to the LSC and administration with anecdotal data. So we're looking to improve this situation in the future. We have taken into account the myriad issues, many out of our hands, that leave us with this problem. There's no simple solution, but we were discussing potential avenues to explore in regards to programming, and we're continuing to discuss this. This is a major problem that Taft has been dealing with for, God, I've taught at Taft since 2005, so just about all that time. We discussed diversification of course offerings and what it takes to get new courses offered at Taft. And we want to serve our large, diverse student body. We want to open doors for them, as the art program does, as we discussed earlier, and offer curriculum they can easily plug into at all levels, TFA and varsity campus, that serves their interests while educating them and opening doors for them. We're discussing how to do that. Another discussion we had was considering remote learning and the fact we're educating students for the future, where the internet's the central hub of commerce and ideas. We discussed this with the library today. We discussed it in budgeting. It came up a lot. We began to discuss the idea of improving access to the internet by the use of maybe Chromebooks, since they're so cheap now. We discussed several ideas on the benefits and drawbacks of this potential implementation. I was happy to hear Mr. Grishaber in an earlier meeting today say that he was open to discussing this. We're going to survey the staff on this and continue researching the feasibility of this idea. And kind of do some research, as Mr. Gershaber noted, how this went down at other schools. Let them figure it out. And then lastly, we discussed the perception that some major curriculum changes have been made at Taft recently without consulting teaching staff chairs or the PPLC. Wanting teacher buy-in to major programs and curricula changes is very important to the success of these important policies. And one way to do that is to make teachers part of the discussion. We're trying to figure out how to do that a little more often. I could give you specifics and stuff, but we're not, like I said, we're in the formatting ideas part of the meeting here. These were not official recommendations. Just wanted to let you know that it serves us all to know where our discussions are going and what problems the staff is encountering. And we're always open to your ideas, feedback, and questions. That's what we're here for, to tell you what's happening in the classrooms with the teachers, because it's hard to hear our voices sometimes. That's all I have on the report.
Yeah, I have a follow-up, Ms. Doherty Trebing. When you guys send out that survey to the staff, can you also include the LSC more as just for information on the questions that you're answering? Maybe not necessarily to have us respond, but just so we're aware of what you're asking.
Sure, yeah, I mean, Mr. Blitzer, yeah, I don't have any problem with that. Yeah, like I said, we worked pretty long and hard to try to make it as detailed as possible, just to gather as much information.
Oh, speaking of the LSC, I wanted to point out about the Tanika Johnson being invited to Taft, that we would extend the invitation also to the LSC to come to that training. It's amazing. And I think you would leave profoundly impacted.
That's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay, and then we have the student representative report, Miss Mano.
Hello, good evening, everyone. For parents and students, there's a work-study program coming up for any senior students who are interested in getting experience as an intern and opportunities for college credit. And so there'll be an informational meeting on the 11th about it for anyone interested, and the link to the meeting is on Taft's website. And additionally, as Mr. G already stated, spring break starts on March 22nd and it runs till March 26th. And other than that, there's pretty much nothing to report because we're not in school.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay. Any further questions from anyone on the LSC for any of the committees? Okay, any old business that we need to readdress?
Yes, can Ms. Greenblatt would like to say a couple of things?
I've got her for public participation. Jenny, do you want to talk now?
Either way, it's really quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to do a quick plug. In the last couple parent bulletins, we are looking for volunteers to help us with the SAT proctoring. So in order to make sure that we are socially distanced, we're going to need a lot more rooms than normal to test all of our juniors and then those seniors that didn't opt into one of the fall dates. And so the form in the bulletin has like there's a Google form with a one-stop shop that parents can do the volunteer process if they haven't, et cetera. But we would really love some additional support to make those days successful for our students in April and May.
And how do they get in touch with you to volunteer for that?
So it is linked in the family, in Mr. Gershaber's weekly family communication, or anyone can reach out to me directly.
Okay. Do you want to type your email in the chat?
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, Jenny, I think I know the answer to this, but we could use grandparents also, right?
Yeah, it's really anyone, you know, it's a little bit trickier with like a sibling, but anyone over 18 could help us out.
Excellent. I know we have a lot of grandparents out there that are involved. Thanks, Jenny.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Sposado, did you want to say something else?
I did, Kathy. Thank you. I just want to correct myself. I misspoke about something earlier. That meeting with the Park District is on Thursday, not tomorrow. So Thursday, we're scheduled to meet somewhere between 1 and 3:30. So.
Okay.
Nick, can I have Mr. Gusso in there too as a representative of the LSC?
Sure.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you, but I'm
welcome
going to
her.
be at the University of Tampa touring the campus with my senior to see if that's the winner.
Okay, good enough.
I can
But
attend in your
I
place.
think you
can I?
know what I would say in the meeting. So
That's why we need you. You and me need to rough up LeVar.
I can do that on the side. Just call me.
All right.
There's a question again in the chat about the dates of spring break. We had this at the last meeting. What did we agree that the dates were again?
Spring break is always the week before Easter.
We need
So it's March 29th, which is a Monday, through April 2nd, which is that Friday. Easter is April 4th.
Okay, so that's clear. So Mr. Alferez, was there a question that it was put somewhere incorrectly?
I probably got it wrong on my
Oh, your report. That was from
Yeah.
last time. You just copied
Yeah.
it probably. Okay.
Okay,
So
my
yes,
fault.
those are
Sorry.
the correct dates in the chat, March 26th through April 2nd.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then new business.
Kath, just one item for me. I have been asking probing questions, which I don't even know what I'm talking about because so fish out of water when it comes to I don't even know what to call the Department of Behavioral Health, counselor, social worker. I don't know what the department is called. Principal G, would you be amenable to having, I think the fellow's name is Mr. Jim Nicholas, just to come and present to the LSC sort of the structure of whatever this department is and sort of who the players are. I've heard counselors, social workers, climate coordinator, conflict resolution specialists, and just put it in context for us at a high level so we kind of know how the department functions and how they're planning for the fall. Because, you know, and we still really haven't talked about the whole SRO issue, and I know we were going to, so it would be helpful if we could just kind of get what it looks like. Is that something you think we could get for next meeting?
Yeah, I've already talked to Mr. Kuzma and I'm sure he's going to relay it to James. We're going to come in with kind of an organizational chart so everybody understands how all the working pieces work together and how there is kind of a Venn diagram of student centeredness on this. And I especially asked him to have examples of each individual student, like a student that may be missing a lot of attendance and how attendance would then coordinate with the counselors and stuff like that, and how that would happen. If we had a kid that had straight A's or good grades, but another kid had heard that they're cutting themselves, how does that kid enter our system and is serviced? And I want everybody to see that I think we've got a pretty good parachute for any kid that we know of on all three levels of tier 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3 for MTSS. So we want to put that so everybody understands that there's been a lot of intentional thought and a lot of maneuvering around to take care of that. But they're going to present at the April meeting. I was going to tell Cassie to please put that on the agenda.
Thank you. I think that would be helpful. I mean, at least for me, I hope, you know, it'd be beneficial to the other members of the LSC and whoever else is at the meeting to help them understand. And from what I gather, it's a pretty, you know, great group of folks. And I think we've got a good model. I just can't explain it I don't understand.
Yeah, we've got social workers in there and psychologists and there's a whole bunch of working parts in there, but yeah, we'll try to explain to everybody.
Perfect, thank you. Anything else new from the LSC? Okay, then we will move on to public participation. I have 4 people who are looking to speak. We'll go first with Dobra Bielinski, who is a parent. You can unmute yourself.
Good evening, everybody. I wanted to speak to everybody and read a little letter that I prepared. I'm speaking on behalf 10 other parents who are either working or they don't speak English well enough to be able to speak to everybody this evening. I'm
sorry to interrupt you. Just, I didn't say the one thing is that everyone is limited to 2 minutes. So I hope that that's enough time for you.
Okay, so I'm going to make it short and sweet. I'm trying to figure out how we can reopen the high school. We have about 90 days left and we have about 100,000 high school students who are really losing out on experience. And I'm just looking at my daughter herself, who's come to me and said, Mom, I need to go back to school. I want to go back to school. My daughter has never uttered those words before. So it's been really tough on her. She's really struggling from a student that would get up 15, 20 minutes early so she could be on time to school, so she could be ahead of, she could be earlier to school so she can talk to everybody, see the teachers. By the way, the freshman academy was amazing. My daughter absolutely loved it. All the teachers there are stellar. But I'm wondering if the CPS and the teachers can come to some kind of agreement and open the schools up, because it's just been terrible. I've had to take time off to come and check on my daughter. I literally cannot get her out of bed. It's just been horrible, horrible, horrible. And I'm just worried. I'm really worried for her mental health. And I've talked to her doctor, who's prescribed her all kinds of medications. And she's telling me that 60% of our teenage patients are committing self-harm. They're cutting themselves, they're pulling out their hair, they're pulling out their eyebrows, their eyelashes, their nails. The children at Lowry's Hospital is almost empty, except for the psych ward, which is filled from bed to bed with kids who are having terrible mental issues. So I'm asking you guys if we can work something out where the schools can reopen, because it's just been really horrible. I'm not a teacher. I wish I was one, but I cannot teach my daughter, and she really needs the interaction with the teacher in the classroom so she can learn better. And I'm speaking on behalf of Mrs. Journey Hargrove. I'm speaking on behalf of Mrs. Olechno, Mrs. Wojciechowski, and Senora Gonzalez de la Oca, and many others who've asked me to speak on their behalf. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. What year is your student?
She's a sophomore now.
Okay. All right. I have a senior, so I feel your pain.
Yeah.
And I think there's 2 others that have seniors on the LSC. So we really appreciate you coming and giving your comments. Are there any questions for Ms. Bielinski from the LSC?
I don't have a question. I also feel for you, right? I try to reach these students every day. Just as a point of clarification, right now, Taft has no say individually as a school about what CPS will decide. So just as a point of clarification, we too are waiting for CPS to give us a plan and a timeline. So all of us, students, parents, teachers, are waiting for that information from.
Yeah.
So I need to start calling the headquarters. I got you. Thank you so much, Ms.
Well,
Doty.
it is, and it's the union as well. Let's not forget that the union needs to be a partner with us. And, you know, the CDC report is clear. It's why aren't high schools open? So we just need to, you know, remember that kids who want to stay home can stay home. They can't. They have a choice. And did you get the text, Ms. Bielinski, or the email on getting whether to opt in or opt out?
Yes, I responded to the text and I
Perfect.
responded to the email.
Perfect.
Thank you.
It's time to get the kids that want to go back and the parents who want their kids to go back to get them back in. And we need to get our teachers vaccinated. So, you know, both parties need to sit down and figure this out. And so my kid senior year, her whole experience is the one day she took her SAT. That's her senior year.
That's really tragic. I think we need to put up billboards that say smart people will save the world. Let's stop making fun of smart people in America. Let's start like building it up so education and teaching gets the good, you know, gets the kudos for what it's doing, you know?
Can I comment on Ms.
Mhm.
Bielinski real quick? And again, this is my opinion, okay? But if you'd have asked me 2 weeks ago whether we're coming back, I would say no, we're probably not coming back. But I feel now that the stickling point was that schools needed to be potted. And since I'm on that committee to bring back schools, that was the big stickling point. We kept saying we can come back, but then you're going to have to tell all these schools to now pod. Taft potted at the beginning of the year, so we're good to go, but a lot of schools didn't. So we were saying that's the stickling point, that you can do all you want to say and say everything you want to do, but if they're not potted, we can't come back. And CPS last week said there is no potting now. We don't have to pod. So to me, that was the tipping point that told me that we will probably come back. So I'm optimistic right now, more than I've ever been in the last year. I feel like we will come back, but again, that's me. I'm trying to give you a ray of hope here that if I was a betting man, I would say right now, I think it's 80% that we would come back. But again, that's just me talking, and everybody else can have their own percentages. But I feel real good that our kids will come back this year. If that gives you any ray of hope, and again, I could be dead wrong, but I kind of feel that we're leaning towards getting our kids back in the building probably in mid-April. That would be my guess.
Thank you so much for everybody listening to me. I really appreciate it. And I wish everybody a fantastic evening.
Thank
There was also a comment in the chat. Mr. Plensner said the Board of Education meeting is open for public participation, and he put the link to that in the chat. Alderman, did
I
you
would
want to
point
say
out
anything?
it's March 24th, the next one.
Okay, thank you. Alderman, did you want to say something else?
Sure. I'll just say that, yeah, I think there's one good sign, the fact that the Cubs and the Sox are coming back. So that's telling me that we're opening up the city much more. So I think that's a huge good sign. Yep. And also you just need to pound away to CPS, and I'm going to say CTU also. Let them know how you feel about it. It's funny, certain parts of town feel different about this, but we certainly know on the Northwest side that we want to get back there. So just pound away at CPS and CTU. Let them say, hey, you're ready. Our kids are ready. They need to get back in there. And certainly, especially for seniors, I really feel bad for seniors. So, but that's it. Just fire away and just let everybody know how you feel about it.
Thanks so much, Alderman Esposado.
Well, I'll just say, not just that, but I mean, look at all of our kids, like your sophomores. She had your daughter or son had a half a year at the freshman academy. They're going to be at the varsity campus as an upperclassman now. So there's a whole big gap right now. So yeah, we all feel that, and I am also optimistic that our kids are resilient, and that when they come back, it's going to be like watering like one of my flowers that I don't water for a long time, that it will come to, that it will bloom. So I feel good about our kids though.
You know what? You have wonderful teachers at Taft High School.
We do.
And my daughter loves a lot of them. And whoever was her math teacher last year, she absolutely loves them. She's all smiles and sunshine every time she talks about them. So, with the great staff you have, I think we're going to make a turn for the better. But I think there's going to be a lot of therapy involved for everybody involved, because it's tough for everybody. It's tough for everybody.
We are in agreement. We have great teachers.
Yep. Thank you, Ms. Galinsky.
Thank you, Ms. Fern.
Next, we'll hear from Brian Wilson, a teacher and a parent.
Hi, thank you, Ms. Fern, and thank you to the LSC. Hi, I'm Brian Wilson, a drama teacher and a parent of a 7th grader. I come here today as someone who acknowledges that we've made a lot of strides during the last decade or so that I've been on campus or in the community. I've embraced the MYP goal of empowering students to inquire into a wide range of issues and ideas of significance locally, nationally, and globally. Arts, you've heard about that tonight. The drama program has grown the most, going from 1 teacher and 4 sections to 3 full-time teachers, and last year at least 16 periods of drama being taught every day. Taft Drama is one of the only CPS programs that regularly participates in Shakespeare Slam, state and city high school theater festivals, and the Illinois High School Musical Theater Awards. 3 young women, all seniors who've had drama class for all 4 years of high school, highlight what has been possible. Mallory Irizarry was inducted into the Shakespeare Slam Hall of Fame by Chicago Shakespeare Theater. Catherine Herrera, you heard earlier, won this year's musical theater competition at Chicago Youth Theater Festival, and was once again honored with for the most outstanding performance. And Vanessa Rivera, Drama Club president, has been accepted into the Tisch School of the Arts at New York University. Thanks to administrative decisions regarding programming, though, instead of seeking to continue Taft Drama's growth, drama will no longer be offered at TFA. This includes eliminating drama as an option for academic center students, like Vanessa was 4 years ago, as well as for all freshmen, even those pursuing the IB diploma and who don't need to take computer science. one performing arts teacher for a building of 1,200 students will be what the decision is. Admin may have the formulas that suggest that this will help Taft meet graduation requirements, but at what cost? This one-size-fits-all approach to programming has made it cumbersome last year for rising sophomores to sign up for advanced arts classes. And this year, at least on some programming sheets, students had no option to select drama as that. There wasn't on there. We can work towards having nicer facilities, but they don't matter if we don't have the students to use them. It's time that we bring creativity back to programming. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson from the LSC?
Why was this? Why I don't understand.
That's the reaction that everybody I tell that I'm being moved and removed from the freshman campus. And it's to make sure that we have enough students are able to get computer science in order to graduate, so that they're not taking it their senior year. That's at least the gist of the reason that I've been told. 150 students maybe that would take computer science additionally if we don't have them taking arts classes. I probably would turn that over to admin to respond to that.
Mr. G?
I'll respond to that. Yeah, you know, making program decisions is never easy, especially when it affects people and decisions. But some of the working parts that went into that is, where is drama taught at the Freshman Academy? It's not taught on our stage because it's the gymatorium, and it's used every period of the day for PE, so they really can't use it for that. So really it's taught in a classroom and out in the hallway. So that's one reason as far as the facility goes. The other thing is, it is programming. It's easier to have all the kids program. But number three, we did it last year with choir, is if a kid wanted to take choir last year, we moved it over to the varsity campus, because if they were a singer, they could take choir sophomore, junior, and senior year. Whereas if we kept it at the freshman campus, they would have to take choir, then take off to get a requirement out of the way, and then jump back in junior or senior year. We thought with 3 drama teachers at the varsity campus, kids that wanted to get into drama, I know that they couldn't take it as academic center or freshman, but they could take it sophomore, junior, and senior right in a row, instead of taking it as a freshman, then hopping out of it. And we thought if they hopped out of it, they may not be in a hurry to hop back in. So we thought the continuity of having 3 years in a row of drama was more attractive to students than to be able to hop in and hop out. We also think if we had all 3 drama teachers on one campus, they could collaborate more. There's more facilities. Like I said, in the media center, we may have a theater in there that we can have a class. We also have the drama labs in the auditorium, where they actually have more spaces. I know sometimes we do expand out of the Black Box Theater and the kids are practicing in the hallways. I get that, but the space is more available at the varsity campus than it is at the freshman campus. But that was the decision right there. We have to get the kids to take their requirements. Let's get them done early in their freshman year, and then they can take the classes that would. So now they can take choir, sophomore, junior, and senior. They could take drama, sophomore, junior, and senior. So there was precedent out there that we did it before. And again, I also think that's better that all 3 of our drama teachers can collaborate with each other, and I think that goes well a long way. So that was part of the decision that was made.
I will chime in to note that I will be at both campuses probably every day that we have school in person, since my son is at the freshman campus for at least the next year after that. So
okay, well that's your decision.
Quite a bit over the
But
last.
You won't be programmed there though. You won't be programmed at both campuses though.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not gonna teach on the pathway or anything like that.
I got you. Yeah.
So does that mean
but we did collaborate quite a bit.
Does that mean our 7th and 8th graders don't then have access to drama?
Not for in class. All of them would take either
They'd have to schlep over to the varsity
visual
campus?
art. they would take band or visual art for a semester apiece between 7th and 8th grade years. And then if they choose to stay at Taft for high school and pursue their IB diploma, or just stay here anyway, then they would take either band or visual art. And there's great teachers there. Ms. Doherty Trebbing is one of those, but they would not have the option for drama in either academic center or for their freshman year, at least as the plan is right now.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Okay, next we have Mr. Cohen. Because Jenny, you already spoke, right? Okay.
Hi, back for the encore. Thank you all. Thank you, Ms. Fern. Thank you, LSC. I want to come in and echo Mr. Wilson's sentiments. He laid out the logical case. I'm going to go for the heart. Okay. And I'm just speaking personally. I don't have notes. I didn't prepare this. But like Mr. Wilson, Mr. Natick, and I have scraped and clawed, and we've built, and in concert and with the support of the administrative team. Like we did not do this alone. We had dynamite backing from administration and you know, a team that let us do things and go for things and try things that other schools would never even think to let us do. And that's been the basis of our success, and that's been the basis of our thriving. And now to have this happen, and like, I know I don't have the numbers that you have. This is above my pay grade. I get that. I do. I really do. But it feels like a demotion. It does. And I know that's not how it's intended. I know that's not how it's intended, but that is how it feels, and that's how it hits us. So accepting the premise that this is a necessary move, I ask that it be a necessary but temporary move, and that as quickly as possible, we restore performing arts to the Taft Freshman Academy. That includes theater, but also chorus as well. The students that I mentioned earlier, Georgia and Vanessa and Kat, but also I could talk about Angie and Viviana, who are at UIC along with Faith, and Serena, who's off in Wisconsin right now, about to graduate. They are proof of concept for a 4-year course of study in drama at Taft. And so if we have to go away from that for a little bit, that is unfortunate, but please, 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 I am asking you, find a way to get drama back to TFA. Find a way to get chorus back to TFA, please. Arts and computers need not be a zero-sum game. There has to be a way that we can accommodate this, because we have proven that we are capable of turning out dynamite young artists who are passionate and go off and they go to school, and they go to school on scholarship, and they stay in school, and they learn, and they graduate, and they're going to go off and change the world. And I want to keep doing that. I want to keep doing that. And regardless of what happens, we will find a way to keep doing that. But like, please, I get, just please let there be 4 years of drama. Please let there be 6 years of drama, academic center as well. I know that I must be out of time by now, but I have to say, the work that Mr. Wilson has done in the past 2 years with 7th and 8th grade and with freshmen, they come to my drama 2, or in some cases drama 3, and they are so well prepared. It's incredible the stuff that we can do, even remotely, even without being in the same room. They're doing fantastic work, and you can see that in the awards that they win. I could show you videos from class if it wasn't a privacy violation. The work is there. The work is good. Please, 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 please let that work continue. Let that growth continue. I probably don't have any time left, but any time I have, I yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark, is this something that we can talk further about with programming, or just get some more information on this decision? Seems to be a...
We can always talk more. I would really like a lot more budget so I can make a lot of these things happen, but I'm always open for more discussion here, you know. Sometimes we have to make decisions. I get it, okay? I get it. And to come on and be emotional like that, I get all that. And I feel the same way, and I lose sleep over decisions like this that we have to make, okay? But these are decisions that I have to put what I think is best for the school and students. I have to make those decisions, okay? I have a limited amount of budget that I have to work with. I have requirements that I have to do. I get all that, okay? But every point you're making, I still don't understand how they would not still do that with 3 years in a row of doing it. These are wonderful students that can do that, but we have requirements that have to be met like that. And so again, my team has argued back and forth on how do we make this happen. This is the best decision going forward for our students. Can we change it in the future? Yes, everything changes in the future. We were going to lose French for a while, and then we rebounded back and we got French again. So anything can be talked about more. Give me more money, and I can do everything. I can make everybody happy if I had more money.
See, this is when we were talking about in PPLC, but we haven't recommended anything. There's a lot of curriculum changes that are made without teacher buy-in. And the result of that, the feelings and the situation that you see here. So it's really good to include teachers in the discussions before big moves are made. Instead of them finding out a little bit, I don't know, harshly, I don't know how to put it. People dedicate their lives to these things, and that's the result.
Yeah, me too. I dedicate my life to this too, Scott, okay?
Amen, both of us.
Yeah, okay.
All right, well, it sounds like that conversation will continue. We'll gather some more information on that and perhaps talk about it at a future meeting. You can always reach out to the Taft LSC at our email, taftlsc@gmail.com. And I believe we are done for the day. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Chris.
Okay, Chris?
I second Maria.
Maria, okay. Great, everybody. Thank you so much for your participation and all your passion for our kids today. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you again soon.
Night.
Thanks for a good meeting, guys. And thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Happy Easter to everybody.
Happy Easter.
Thanks, Kathy. Have a good night.